everyone. Welcome to Distinction Cast, where ADOM showcases the best and brightest minds in the dental industry from within our Dental Management Association. I'm Penny Reed, the Executive Vice President of Membership and Events for ADOM, and we're super excited that you joined us today. ADOM's Distinction Cast is more than insights into dental management. We amplify the voices of our distinction holders, ADOM's distinction holders, the leaders in the trenches of dental management who share their insights, inspiration, and real-world strategies to help you thrive in your practice. For our ADOM members, be sure to go to the eCampus learning platform to complete the course and receive your CE. So it's my privilege today to introduce Brandy Williams. Hey there, Brandy.
Hey.
Yeah, so Brandy, let me tell you a little bit more about Brandy before she shares her brilliance with the world here. And believe me, you are in for a treat for today. She is the founding president of the Oklahoma Society of Dental Professionals, which is a recognized dental professional learning network by the American Association of Dental Office Management, and a proud member of Women in DSO. Brandy holds our MADOM distinction with ADOM. And she's the Chief Growth Officer at Catalyst Dental Allies, which is a mid-sized DSO in Oklahoma. And she's played a pivotal role in this company's remarkable expansion from just 4 clinics in 2017 to 46 clinics today. That's a big jump, encompassing both specialty and general practices. So she's got 30 years of tenure in the dental industry and has really learned a lot and has a lot to share regarding building successful practices and cultivating empowered teams. So she consistently exceeds financial and operational goals, championing innovative growth strategies in ever-evolving dental landscape. So that's for sure. The dental landscape has changed a lot. So you will see that she blends her appreciation for group practice with her passion for ADOM. And we really appreciate all that you do for us at ADOM, Brandy, and your leadership. So we can't wait to hear your message today, which is climbing the ladder of success from office manager to regional manager. So take it away, Brandy.
Thank you so much, Penny. It's such an honor to get to share some of my successes and not so successful moments with all of you. Thank you for that kind introduction. And I am so passionate and excited to share a little bit more about the DSO space. It's something that is very near and dear to my heart. And one of the reasons I'm so passionate about it is because I feel like there's a big missing piece in education for our mid-level managers, for the regional manager spot. So I will jump on any opportunity to kind of advocate and share some best practices and my experiences with my fellow dental friends. So today we're going to talk about climbing the ladder to success, what it looks like preparing to go in that role from office manager to regional manager. I think we can all agree that a lot of private practices are joining the group dental space. And that creates a lot of additional opportunities for office managers. And I would love to share how you can prepare for that next step if that's something that you're interested in. So to start off, I was scrolling through Facebook, such a great use of my time a few weeks ago, and I came across a post from Dr. Hendrik Lai, and it just stopped me in my tracks. One, because it really resonated with my experience as a manager, operations manager, regional manager. And secondly, because I see this happen all the time. And he had posted, the irony of management is most people are promoted into management because they were good at something that wasn't management. And that is just so true. It happens more than I'd like to think. We have just a great office manager, and everybody is raving about how great this office manager is. I wish we had 10 more like them. How can we clone this office manager? And so we decide, let's put them in this role to be over 3 or 4 different clinics, and they can start teaching all of our other office managers how to be more like them. And what happens is we kind of give that role and that authority without a lot of direction or expectation. And we now see this new office manager moving into a role that they weren't prepared for, equipped for, trying to do all of the tasks they were great at, but that's really not what the role of a regional manager encompasses. And so now we run the risk of losing this amazing manager because our next step would be to let them know, this isn't the right seat for you, or we haven't given you the right tools. We don't want to lose you as a manager. Let's put you back in the space, which feels like an emotion. So everyone loses at that point. And I see this cycle happen all the time. Office managers are great at all of the tasks, but becoming a regional manager isn't doing all of the tasks. It's managing the people that do the tasks. So that's what I'm really excited to dive into today, is kind of talking about what that looks like going from manager to regional manager. And I had to throw in the only picture I could find with Hendrik was at the Denim and Diamonds party at ADOM. So we typically don't dress. He obviously didn't get the memo. It's denim and diamonds, but we typically don't dress in that many sparkles. So office managers are the Swiss Army knives of the dental office. They do it all. And regional managers, they're the strategy experts. So they're making sure that tools are sharp, supported, and pointed in the right direction. So to prepare for success, we're going to talk about leadership development, building mentorship relations, and then operations and metrics. So with leadership, cultivating strong skills, it's essential to inspire teams and drive performance as a regional manager. Building connections through mentorship helps guide emerging leaders, ensures valuable insights for career advancement. And then understanding KPIs and metrics means that you're knowing where your focus needs to be, and that's how you're going to meet goals faster and smarter. Starting off with leadership, fostering collaboration and cultivating leadership. So for me, the true measure of a leader is their ability to develop new leaders. By mentoring, supporting, training, empowering others, great leaders will build a team of future leaders who will carry the vision forward. I think the highest compliment that you can have as an office manager is when you are developing the managers for the rest of the organization. When everybody is just coming out of your office, that's a reflection of your leadership, your training, your ability to develop others. And I had to hashtag Teresa Duncan's leap the ladder down, but that to me is the true meaning of leading the ladder down, when you're creating opportunities to elevate those around you. Empower decision making. A great leader empowers their team to make decisions with confidence. They create a safe space to act without fear of failure or retaliation, and they allow their team members to grow and take ownership of their roles. Empowerment without expectation or direction, though, isn't really leadership. It's abandonment disguised as freedom. So I've been in places where they're like, yeah, go ahead. I want to empower you to do what's right, but nobody's actually explained what right looks like. So empowerment where everyone knows the value, the culture, what right looks like, and then allowing your teams to make those decisions. You're going to be able to create leaders that way. Without that empowerment, you're back to doing all the tasks. You're back to getting bombarded and burned out because you're having to answer every question. So understanding how to empower others, how to give them the expectation and direction, and then let them take those skills and go with it. And then lastly, teach, don't just do. Leadership is more than doing it all yourself. Great leaders teach their team, share their knowledge, and show others how to handle tasks, ensuring that no one's the sole keeper of expertise of the office. And I think you guys have probably worked in a place like that where only Susie's the one that can do a refund. And if a patient comes in and needs a refund and Susie's not there, we have to wait. Sometimes that's out of fear. Like we want to feel like we have that power or we have that ability to where we're always needed. And sometimes it's just, I don't have time to show anybody else how to do that. So I'm just going to keep doing it. That's probably the latter happens more than anything because office managers are juggling 80,000 tasks. There's not a lot of time to train. So we just keep on throwing it on ourselves to do it. When you can step back and say, I'm taking that opportunity away from the people I work with to learn and to grow. Sometimes it can kind of change your perspective on maybe I don't need to do it all. I need to delegate some time. I need to be intentional with my time to make sure that I'm giving everyone in my office the opportunity to grow and to learn all of the skills that I have. Um, I went to a course with Dr. Gina Dorfman, and it was over delegation. And she had shared that done is almost always better than perfect. And I had to say that to myself like several times to really let that sink in. But it's true. Done is almost always better than perfect. Can the person sitting next to me do it as well as I would do it? I'm going to say no. I'm going to do it right every time. But if I can't get to it and it just keeps staying on the back burner and never gets done, getting done is going to be better than my perfect attempt to do it. So if we can kind of think that way, that it's okay to allow others to learn how to do something, to delegate and let them do this, you'll be surprised. They might do it better than you. They might do it in a different way that's more efficient than your way. And it gives an opportunity for growth for you as well. Next is some leadership resources that I wanted to share with you. I go to conferences and I always write down like all of the books that I want to read with the intentions of reading them. It's hard sometimes. These I've gotten through and they've all played a pivotal role in my development as a leader. They're pretty easy reads, pretty fun to read. So you take a picture of this with your phone, but these are some great resources for you to get started in your leadership journey. I started a book club to make myself read some books. I came back from a conference with a list of books I wanted to get to, knowing that life would get in the way of that, or maybe Handmaid's Tale or whatever reality show I was watching at the time. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to just start a book club and invite some dental professionals from the community. And I got through 2 books because of that. So it's a network opportunity. If something doesn't exist, start it. You have the ability to create that type of network and community you need. So if you are interested in reading some books, grab some dental professionals in your area and you guys start a leadership book club. The next thing I want to talk about is the power of mentorship. I looking back early in my career, I guess I've always had some mentorships. Maybe I didn't realize that's really what they were until I've gotten a little bit more seasoned and mature. Within the last 5 years, so I would say the power of mentorship has been so pivotal in where I'm at right now. I've had mentors that have had some really tough conversations with me, which those are the best kind. If you can get somebody that's not scared to tell you where you really need to focus, or if you're in the wrong seat, or help you get serious about some things that you might not think are a big deal to your growth. A mentor is going to give you invaluable guidance to help navigate your career path and help you make better decisions, informed decisions, use their experience to help you not make the same mistakes that they did. They're also going to put your name in rooms that you're not in yet. So the more you connect with people and get mentorship, the more opportunity you'll see, the more doors are going to open. And it's such a great thing for an office manager. We live a lonely, lonely life. We can't turn around and ask for support or community from our team necessarily. And having a mentor can give you sometimes some reality checks, or sometimes just the ability to vent and tell you it's going to be okay, to help you avoid burnout. So mentorship is going to open doors to new connections and networking opportunities that enhance your career growth. And it might not be that you want to grow outside of where you're at in your organization or your role now, but I look at all the mentorship and the network connections that I've had, and we have a summit every year where we bring all of our employees together for education and training. And the majority of the speakers that we have, all of the speakers we have, are people that I've met through ADOM and Women in DSO. And I've been able to bring this type of training and education and mentorship to our entire organization because of these networking opportunities that have been made available to me. So don't discount that. And then lastly, skill development. Learning from a mentor is going to help you develop essential skills that are crucial for career advancement and success. I've got a few of my mentors here. I hope some of them are familiar faces. Again, so many of these ADOM events have themed parties. So I typically don't dress like I'm in the 80s or with sequins, but you wouldn't know that. And then I just had to throw in a few more mentors that have really just shaped my life, that are here for me day in and day out, that I have so much respect for. Here are some mentorship resources that I wanted to share for you. If you are not involved in your local DPLN study club, I would encourage you to do that. You're missing out. This is a group of local people that are here to support you, that you can bounce ideas off of, that you can just have that relationship and community with. So if you aren't a member of your DPLN, you need to reach out, go to the ADOM page, dentalmanagers.com, and find your DPLN near you. If there's not one, I would encourage you to start one. Get the information to start a study club. It just takes a couple people to gather and start sharing ideas and best practices. The ADOM Distinctions Program, Penny mentioned that I was a MADOM. I earned my mastership distinction last year. I'm working on my diplomat distinction this year. I hope to walk across the stage with some amazing people. That is really going to show your community, your employer, that you're serious about what you're doing. Working to get those distinctions, it's more than just for me, it's for everybody I work around. It's for the people that I mentor. They know I'm serious about my job. I'm serious about my role. I eat, breathe, and sleep dentistry. And this is a great way for me to invest in myself and the people that I'm leading. The Women in DSO Mentorship Program, that's been a really cool opportunity for me. I've gone through the program twice now. I've had a mentorship that helped me with personal branding. They have different types of tracks that you can go down. If you were in the DSO space, Women DSO has a lot of great resources for you. And then the ADOM conference. You want to meet 1,500 of your best friends that are just as crazy as you are about dentistry, this is where you do it. And it's a great way to connect with speakers, network. One thing that's different about ADOM speakers and mentors is a lot of conferences I go to, you listen to panels, you might feel a connection, but they're not throwing up their email address for you to reach out to them afterwards. The ADOM community, they want to connect with you. I can shoot an email, I can give them a call, and they're answering and helping me, and they genuinely care about my success. And you don't find that in other places, or at least I haven't. And then lastly, ADOM started a new mastermind program this year, and it's customized coaching with a really small group of other office managers. Laura Nelson is involved in that. I believe Penny's helping with that too. That's an amazing opportunity for mentorship. The last thing I want to talk about are operations and metrics overview. This is my jam. I love numbers. I used to not always love numbers and geek out about it, but once we started utilizing dental intelligence, it just changed the way I looked at things. If you like puzzles, if you like solving things, this is like being able to be like the puzzle master without having to print off 57 reports from your practice management software. And I like being ahead of the game. I like knowing trends, seeing things that could happen, and course correcting and helping my practice before they have to kind of go through some dark times. So data-driven decision-making is utilizing metrics to ensure informed choices are driving efficiency and effectiveness in operations. I meet with each of our office managers once a quarter for one-on-one coaching calls. And I ask them to bring 3 things that they want to share to celebrate from the last quarter. And I love it when they say, oh, I feel like our new patients are up this quarter, or I feel like our case acceptance is better than it was last quarter. I love to say, you know what? I love that you feel that way. Let's look at the data. And I'm sure if you feel that way, it is, but let's look at the data and see what the numbers say. What percentage are you up? How much have we grown? I want them to start growing beyond subjective feelings and rely on data to support their decisions. That's going to elevate them in their career as they're presenting things to their boss. When you can bring those metrics and that data, having that subjective or objective feeling and objectiveness instead of the subjective feelings is going to really position you in a more professional manner. Key performance indicators. So establishing KPIs, it helps us measure success, track progress towards goals, and identify trends so you can address issues early on. That's like my favorite thing to do. When I start to see things slipping, I want to find out why. I want to get curious and dig into things. And this helps me find out what I need to dig into without having to sit in the seat in the office and watch someone do the tasks or start pulling reports. I can easily see where things might be trending upward or downward and get curious about those. And then lastly, continuous improvement. So consistently reviewing data fosters culture of growth and adaptability, and everybody starts looking that way. It's not just the manager having to pull up numbers, but everybody, they take ownership of what their metric is, what they're bringing to the table, and everybody kind of takes ownership. And then we have this culture of continuous improvement, and it's really magical to get to see that happen. For regional managers, the ability to predict performance and identify opportunities is essential for driving success. And that's going to be something that's going to put you apart from anyone else. When you can start seeing those things before anyone else can, your providers are going to love you. Your bosses are going to love you. You're going to be like the fixer to go in and see, oh, I see this happening here. Let's start a game plan to correct this. And every office is different. So we can't just assume because this is an issue at one office, it's going to be an issue at your other offices. So being able to look and see the unique challenges across your organization is going to really put you in a place to fulfill you, because you can see you're really making a difference. So here are some KPI resources. I am not familiar with, so I'll apologize now, I'm not familiar with all of the different KPI platforms. I can only speak to the ones that I've kind of heard of. I'm a fan of Dental Intelligence. I've worked with them for about 7 years now. Again, look at this ADOM. We're in the 80s gear. I'm so sorry. But Dental Intelligence, Addit, Jarvis, Practice by Numbers, those are all great KPI platforms that I would recommend looking into if you don't already use a KPI platform. P&L review with your doctor or your accountant. If your doctor is comfortable with that and will kind of show you what a P&L looks like, that's a great way for you to know the success of your practice, know when you can maybe add more employees, know when you need to look at lab invoices and see if are we doing a lot of redos? Why is this going up? Why is this going down? When you can look at things from an operational perspective, you're focusing on you're working on a regional manager level. That's what you're going to be doing as a regional manager, is really looking at the overall profitability of the office. And then industry benchmarks, getting familiar with what the industry says we should kind of be at, what average we should be for payroll, what average we should be for lab expenses, for dental supplies. And then dental economics is it used to be in the 90s and 2000s, a magazine. I think they probably still send them out to the offices, but they also have a website with really great resources and articles on managing your practice and your business. So to wrap it all up, step one, if you're wanting to move from the office manager role and start transitioning and preparing for that regional manager position, you need to identify your goals and aspirations. Talk to your team member, your direct supervisor about that, what those roles look like, or goals look like, and what steps you need to take to achieve them. If someone is really serious about growing, then I am going to do everything I can to support that growth, but I'm going to need you to do some stuff to support that growth too. So we don't just put it out there in the universe and expect it to happen. You got to put the work in too. And that's where step 2 comes in. Seek opportunities for professional development and training. Do some webinars. Go to CEs when the opportunity presents itself. Get mentorship. Go to ADOM. Go to the conference. Get some more knowledge. Step 3, build relationships with mentors and industry leaders. If you don't have a mentor, I would suggest that you start reaching out. You might have to reach out to 5 or 6. You might have to reach out to 1, and they would say yes. I've been fortunate. Everyone I've asked to mentor me has said sure. And I shared earlier, I have a few mentors that have played such a huge role in where I'm at today, and I'm so grateful for them. And then step 4 is to start to transition to an operations manager mindset. So instead of just managing the practice, the patients, the people, we're looking at the big picture. That brings us to the end here. And I wanted to share this quote by Stephen Covey. Management is efficiency in climbing the ladder of success. Leadership determines whether the ladder is leaning against the right wall. I would like to thank you guys so much for letting me share some of my tips and tools and resources. I would love to connect with you. If you're looking for a mentor, I'd love to connect with you on that level as well. I'd be happy to help you with your journey. Um, my email and my LinkedIn is here. I hope to meet you, connect at some point. I'll be at the ADON National Conference this fall, and I hope to see you there.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for your message. And it was very inspiring and sparked a lot of questions. But I don't have time to ask a lot of questions. So I made a couple of notes, Brandy, of a few questions. And one of them is when you talked about going from being the Swiss Army knife to strategy, was there a belief or a habit that you had to let go of? Like when you went through that transition of going from Swiss Army knife to strategy, would you be open to sharing what that was for you?
Absolutely. And if I could preface this by saying, I don't own a Swiss Army knife. I have seen one. If I could have found an analogy with shopping or a mall, I totally would have done that. But a Swiss Army knife was all I could come up with. And I think it's just back to the task driven things. Office managers are so great at tasks. And I can speak from personal experience. When I was first promoted to a manager, director, regional manager, director, I went in an office thinking, what am I supposed to do? I guess, I mean, their AR is bad. Let me go work on the AR. So it was just natural for me to want to just jump in and do the tasks. And I could move the needle for the time that I'm there. And I might see that effect for 2-3 weeks post my visit. But I really wasn't making any long-term success for the practice. And that's where I think the difference between the Swiss Army knife and really sharpening the tools comes in. You can't go in and just do all the tasks. You'll get so burnt out. You'll have the weight of however many practices you have, trying to manage 7 practices or be the office manager at 7 practices instead of helping train and coach and develop the managers at the 7 practices.
Very true. Very true. Sometimes I also use the MacGyver term. Then I realize a lot of the younger generation has no idea who MacGyver is. You should look that up. Don't look it up right now, though, because we're not done yet. So what is one piece of advice that a mentor gave you that, if you were willing to be vulnerable here, that changed the trajectory of your career?
Goodness. There's been so much great advice. So much great advice. Say yes. Say yes to things that are out of your comfort zone. There and having imposter syndrome is really real. So you think nobody wants to hear from me, or nobody wants, oh, what am I going to bring? Why would I publish this article, or why would I want to do this? But when you say yes to those opportunities, you're positioning yourself to be the field expert, to get your name in rooms that they weren't in before. So if somebody thinks enough to ask you to do something, and it's in reason, and it's something that would help, move you in your trajectory and your career, then say yes to it. Even if it's uncomfortable, the person that's asking you, I'm sure they're not there to set you up to fail. I'm sure they want to help support you. But sometimes you have to get a little uncomfortable to grow.
I love that. I love that. So I'll share, even though this is the time for me to ask questions for you, I'll be vulnerable too. Mine was my first business partner who had actually been the consultant for the practice that I worked for. Right. So, I mean, this was somebody that I hugely respected. And he let me know, he said, you know what? You talk too much. It's a few teary moments. And I mean, he didn't do it in front of other people, but it would usually be a post-mortem. What's like what worked well and what didn't. And for somebody that's a talker, that's kind of painful. Yet I'm thankful he did. I'm thankful that he did. Yeah. So that was not a fun one. But sometimes those are the most powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
It's
somebody
really great mentorship.
cares enough to tell you the hard stuff that you don't want to hear, that's
Right.
it's gonna stick with you, but that's what's going to grow you as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think about that now anytime that I talk is, am I talking too much? All right. So, you mentioned the importance of empowering teams, and what are some signs that you may have or if we're looking at for others, what is a sign that a team member exhibits that they're ready to take on more leadership responsibility if they don't see it in themselves? So when you were talking about leaders create leaders, are there a couple of things that you look for in individuals that show that they may be ready to take that next step?
I definitely like actions speak louder than words because I have a lot of people that tell me, I want to be a regional manager. I want to do this. And then nothing that I see in their performance reflects that. But somebody that gets curious, I love good questions and like, why are we, the whys don't really bother me anymore. I want you to know the why behind why we do something. I'm from a generation that when someone said to do it, you just said, okay, it didn't matter why. If at 2 o'clock I stood on one leg every day for 30 minutes, I'm doing it because you told me to. But when you're curious because you want to know like the whole cycle of whatever this process is, that's when I'm like, you want to lead, you want to teach, you want to grow. And that's when I really want to pour into people, when I can look at their actions and see that they're taking initiative to learn things. Even if they're learning the wrong way, I'm like, oh my gosh, let me grab you and let's redirect. But I love that you're taking the initiative to learn this.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. If someone feels stuck in their current role and they're not sure how to take that next step up the ladder, what's an action that you might encourage them to do? Let's just say in the next 30 days, right? Let's put a little positive tension on those that are like, okay, I'm stuck. I think I probably could be doing more. What would you encourage them to do?
Um, there's so many things you can do. Start off by just reading one of those books. For me, I love CE. So when my cup is empty, if I just listen to a great podcast or read a great leadership book, attend a lunch webinar, my cup starts to run over and I get real energized and I remember why I'm doing this and what I love about dentistry. When you get so burdened by the tasks and the call outs and everything else that's going on, sometimes that can overshadow what you really love about your role. And if you can find ways to come back to that and find that passion and ignite that passion, then I think it's going to help you either want to move forward and or be a better version of yourself in your existing role.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Well, I have one last question that is going to help us end on a like geeky note because I also love numbers and I love the what was it, Mary Chapin Carpenter, the stars may lie, but the numbers never do. Right. That's the, we've got to figure out a way to measure and track things. What is one of your favorite uh, simple metrics that you recommend tracking that can have a significant impact fairly quickly?
Ooh, okay. I it's might not be the easiest to do without a platform, but I love net patient growth. I love to see because I always have offices saying, we need to do more marketing, we need more new patients. And I click one little button and say, well, you've had 17 patients that hit an 18-month mark that are considered inactive. So we can bring in all these patients, but if we're opening up the back door and they're just running out, we're not being smart about our marketing dollars. So that
Yeah.
one, love that one.
I love that one. And boy, don't those analytics dashboards make that so much easier for sure. So
Yes.
that's one of my favorites, one of my favorites. So, well, thank you so much, Brandy, for not only your time today, and as other distinction holders know that have participated in these, there's a lot of work that goes in on the back end, getting prepared to share that knowledge. And we don't take that lightly. So we thank you so much for the investment of your time, and for being a distinction holder. And I can't wait to see you walk across the stage and get your DADOM. I'll be probably hooping and hollering for everyone just as loud. If not, that'll be a time where it is okay for me to talk, right? I'll be cheering everybody on. So thank you for putting that together. And also, thank you for, your commitment to education and your passion there as well. So for all of those that are watching or listening, thank you for tuning in, and be sure to follow ADOM on all of our social channels so you can be aware of upcoming educational opportunities. Thank you again, Brandy. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.